You can go ahead and copy it down to your laptop, and you can open that up to track it along with me. I'll spend most of my time today working on the Jupyter Hub. And so, for those of you who weren't here today, Jupyter Hub is a new product developed by the city team, Jeff and Ashwin, and all the way on the back. So basically, it allows you to have interactive access to the Palmetto supercomputer without having to go through a command line interface. If you go to this link, it will pop up with username and password. Just put in your username and your website password and hit sign in. So you have the sticky note. I ran out of the red and green sticky note yesterday, so I only have a yellow sticky note now. If you have any question or if you need help with anything, just put up a sticky note on your laptop. So after you successfully log in, go ahead and click Start My Server. Today we are not really using Palmetto resource. We're only using Palmetto as a staging area for us to interact with the Hadoop cluster on the back end. So you only need to get one resource churn, one CPU core, and when you fall to 8 gigabyte, the hold time is 4 hours. Let's go ahead and get 8 gig of RAM. And we still go to the work queue.
Sorry, I have difficulty accessing this login page.
So, how many of you have heard about Hadoop? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Supposedly, Hadoop is a great savior for our big data problem. It can handle anything and everything that throw at that infrastructure. I can tell you that that is not true. Hadoop is a great thing, but it doesn't solve everything. And it is important so that is why we have these two workshops kind of run back to back. MPI is one approach to solving parallelization with the focus on the work that you are doing, trying to parallelize the work. Hadoop is another way to do parallelization, but it's focused on the data. So you focus less on the work. The work is much simpler, and you focus more on how to parallelize and distribute the data in order to improve performance. So, let's see. Here's a quick history of how Hadoop came to be. So, early 2002, there are people who is audacious enough to try to build indexing service that can be better than Google, and they set out to do it. It works, but its performance is still nowhere near what Google has. And then in 2003, Google released the first paper that described how it's managed the data that it has within its warehouse system. It turns out that internet is a massive place, and trying to crawling and indexing the internet is more about how you can get as much data as you want, as you can, and then trying to look and compare all of those data as fast as possible. So it's all come down to how the data are arranged. As the data develops to such a certain scale, you start to have physical limitation on the hardware that algorithm cannot solve. So Google basically released a research paper describing this is how we do it. And in the next year, so now in 2003, we know how they store the data, but what do they do with it? And in the next year, they released a second paper describing the programming approach that they use on the data set that they store within their storage system. So basically, these two papers, the Google file system and the MapReduce paper, I consider the two most important papers that you need to read as you start to go into the area of big data analytics. So in 2005, the people who want to build this open source search engine decided to go ahead and take what Google built and implemented it within the system. And the integration of Google infrastructure now, so what Google released is not basically, they didn't release the source code. They just basically go out and say, this is how we do it, this is our assumption, this is how we handle things. So they look at that paper and they start to redesign an open source version of Google GFS and MapReduce framework. And this effort is called Hadoop, and it's sponsored by Yahoo. So fast forward, starting in 2007, Yahoo started to maintain the 1,000 node production cluster on using Hadoop. And by 2008, Hadoop became the web platform for Yahoo Web Index. So that infrastructure is with the record for the world's fastest system to store 1 terabyte of data. So 1 terabyte of data doesn't sound so big now, but back in 2008, it was an astronomical number of storage of data that you can manage. 209 seconds using a 910 node cluster. And it started to become a top-level open source project on the Apache Foundation. And then Yahoo spin off a separate company that focused more on the distribution of the Hadoop open source project, something similar to how you have different flavor of Hadoop of Linux. And this is Hortonworks. So 2008, the first commercial distributor for Hadoop is Cloudera, and then 2009 we have Maca is the second commercial distributor, and in 2011 Yahoo spin-off Hortonworks. So basically, Apache Hadoop is the core open source project for the entire infrastructure, and Cloudera, Maca, and Hortonworks are the three foremost important distribution version of Hadoop for in the commercial world.